Already getting water. See water? That's a water. Hopefully not blow the hose out. As you can see, those are guide plates. Much larger so we can get more leverage on it. Thought I was kidding. The deck is rotten. Alright guys, my name is Paul and this is Titan Customs and this is unusual. So I just got a phone call from the local parts guy here, Napa Auto Parts, and he says, hey, I've got a 74 Ventura. He said, I need to get rid of it and I've got a pink slip to it. Either it goes to you or goes to the wrecking yard. Now a Ventura 74 is pretty much the same as a Nova. Front end's a little different, taillights are different, but what caught my attention, it's a hatchback. It makes it pretty rare. There's some things that scare me. He has the front clip off of it. He was going to do a restoration on it. And what did he say he was going to do? Oh yeah, LS swap it. It has a Pontiac 350 that's been supposedly covered. He's not sure whether water got in the engine or not. So that's what we're going to go find out. We're going to go look at this thing real quick and see if it's worth the time. Obviously, I'm not dressed for this. I was headed to the gym. Anyway, we're going to see if it's worth the time. See how bad it is. We need to look at the typical things. He says the trunk floor needs to be replaced. He said the skin of the hatchback is good, but the frame's got issues. Now, is it something I can rebuild? I hate rust. I can rebuild usually, unless it's just, I don't know. We'll have to look at it. Finding a hatchback for that is not an option. I'm not getting, it'd be a miracle to find one. And there's replacements. Someplace out of Canada makes them in fiberglass and they look terrible. I'm not doing that. He does have the glass. So I am going to take you, actually I'm going to flip you around here a minute and get you closer to where we're going, and because I've never been there either, and we're going to both see whether this is worth rescuing or not. Like I said, we're going to walk around it, see if the cowl's rotted out, see if the back frame rails are bad. The clip off gives us a complete access to the front frame rails, so we'll know whether it's solid enough to deal with it. We're talking about quite a bit of work on a semi-desirable car, depending on which one it is. Obviously, it is a hatchback. So I'm going to stop you and put you on pause for a minute, and as soon as we get closer to where I can show you what's going on, I'll bring you back as soon as we're driving out. So give me a couple of minutes. It's not too far from here, and we'll go take a look. All right, guys, I'm back. So supposedly up there around the corner on the right side is where this car is. It's supposed to be completely visible from the road, so I figured I'd bring you in and we'll see it together. And it shouldn't be too much further up around there. There's the end of the road here going left, which you can't clearly see yet, but I can. Should be very, oh, there it is. Now that looks suspiciously like this can't be, that's a Firebird. I wish that, oh, I see it. Yeah, we want that. I actually have history with that car. This is what we're looking at. Oh, God. I don't know, guys. Let's take a look. Let me take you down from here for a minute, or let me stop this for a minute and get out. We'll walk around it. Give me a minute. Yeah. Boy, that's ugly. Easy access to the harmonic balancer. It doesn't appear to be that he did keep it, well, maybe it's sealed. The cowl looks, yeah, it's got a, he's obviously stripped this thing down and took everything off of it. It looks pretty solid through the cowl. Frame rails are no rust other than surface. Looks like it's been mud bogging. Cowl's pretty solid. Windshield frame and surround. Wished he hadn't stripped it. It is a two-door. Boy, did he strip it. He says this frame, I don't know if we can get this open. I don't think, well, I can't get it open. And unless the key's in the ignition. Hatchback by Pontiac. Hatchbacks were really not all that popular when these things came out. Everything in the back got baked. There's stuff in here that there's inside door panels. The rear seat seems to be right there. I'd like to get this hatch open. It actually seems to be a pretty solid car. The dashboard is intact. Looks a little bit like my Chevelle's dash. Really isn't that bad. Minimal floor pan stuff. He said there are some holes. And there is keys in it. Well, if we can get the key out of it. Oh, it's got to be in the park position. Got the key. Let's see what we can find out about the hatch. It does have the hatch key in it. Whether it opens or not, that's another story. Typically, that's the key that, maybe not, maybe it is the ignition key. That would be weird. No, sir, I think it's just gummed up. Wiggle the tumblers. Now, this is the question of the year. Holy gosh, that's a problem. The outside frame doesn't look bad. This could be fixed. There's the hatch that pops up in these floors. And I can't hold this and do that at the same time. I already know it needs a pan down there because he told me it does. Trunk pan is garbage. I don't know if we can. I don't see that this thing has major rust problems as far as structural. The question is does the engine turn? That would be helpful. Because at the moment, what this really needs is to be completely stripped down again or sandblasted, soda blasted. Everything seems to be here, which is, he says he has all the trim for it. So there's a little bit of rust over these wheel arches. There is some down there. And some in the back there. Roof is really solid and it's really not banged up, and the car's really straight. And he says the clip's put away, and it's in good shape. So he does have the clip. Like I said, he has all the trim and the rest of the interior. So it all needs to be gone over. I don't want to see this go to a wrecker. That's where it's going if I don't take it. That's a 2-door too. Wow. All right, let me put you on a tripod. Let me get a ratchet socket extensions. Let's see if we can turn this over. Now, these Pontiac engines, most of you already know that. It's a 350, but it's the same block as all of the Pontiac engines. They just changed bore and stroke on them. So, well, it's not the most desirable one of them. It also is probably stout as heck just because it's got less cubic inches and more steel. In a machinist's mind, anyway. Let me get to something set up here so you can see this, and I'll get right back to you. All right, guys, I don't have the right socket here. I got a 1-inch. It's a 15/16, but it's also a 6-point, so maybe we can see if we get anything out of it. So let's see if we can get it to turn at all. That be no. That engine is seized severely. Yeah. Also has a 2-barrel on it. I don't know, guys. I got to debate this, but I can't let this go to a wrecking yard. The thinking. I just don't know. The frame rails and stuff are good. The body's really solid other than the trunk lid. Maybe we can unseize it. But even if we unseize it, it's going to need to be rebuilt. Wow. Oh my gosh. No, this engine is not turning over. I'm hoping you get that. Let me walk around so you get that. Focus. That is a solid chunk of rust. I'm going to take you down from there and show you what I found. All right, let's, just open the valve cover up. Okay, if I can get this camera to cooperate with me somewhat. That tells me as a machinist, and I am a certified machinist, this engine is garbage. That means everything underneath that is going to be a rusted pile of junk. Let me pull you back into where you can see. That being said, it's a Pontiac engine. They're pretty rare to come across anymore, and I'd just drop a 400 or a 455 in it. I can't let this go to the wrecking yard. I'm going to take it. I don't know what we're going to do with it. I'm literally just kind of like, okay, what do we do with the Pretenda Nova? Wish somebody hadn't beat the dog dish Pontiacs to death, because it has all 4 of them. Like the Baby Moons. But man, that is a pretty straight car, and the clip's even as straight. So yeah, we're gonna get it. Like I said, I'm not knowing what I'm gonna do with this thing, so we'll go from there. Well, I want to look inside the passenger side. doors open easy. Pontiac badge. It's all here, guys. That's definitely the rear seat for it. It's the green color. That's the bottom of the back one. That's an LS airbox. He has taken the headliner out. Alright guys, like I said, I can't let that thing go to an auto wrecker. They'll squash it. So, I'm going to get it. Price is right. It's got pink slip. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with it. It needs a new engine. I'd try to start that thing, but I'd be wasting your time. I'd have to disassemble it, free all the heads, free all the valves, and with the half an inch of rust that's protruding out of the valve cover, there's no chance that thing's going to be a usable engine. My best bet would be to find a Pontiac 400 or 455 and drop it in it. So I'm going to get it. I'm going to put it on the back shelf, stick it up there. We've got other projects at the moment I've got to work on, and I'll start eyeballing for parts and see if I can find things for it without sticking a bunch of money in it. It could be a really cool car. It's a shame that it got taken apart like that and the clip taken off and not put back on, and it was just, there's no reason for any of that. But anyway, I'll bring you back in when we go to moving it, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, I have hooked up the trailer and we are going over there to get the Pontiac now. I'm not going to film going down the road with you and towing a trailer. It's not real safe. But as soon as we get there, supposedly all the parts are lidded. He brought them out of storage, front clip, back glass, and everything. So I'll bring you back into the loop when we get there and let you see what we're going to do. And I will not bother you with loading that thing. We're going to be doing it with a come-along. That's going to take a while. The trailer hasn't been moved in a long time. But I'll get back to you as soon as I get there. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see this car brought back to life, subscribe. Yeah, I have a couple of chains. We're back, guys. So he's brought some parts out here. It seems that the front clip is taken apart. There's the hood. There's the back glass. And the front seats, bench seat, core support, both fenders, inner firewall, front bumper, air cleaner, and the grill. That's actually good looking. Wow, that's like the GTO grill. I actually like that one. Anyway, I'll get all these things loaded up and we'll go home and decide what to do with this thing, besides put it together. I just couldn't let this die. The oh so famous Nova looking door back. Hello guys, we're back. I have got the car home. Obviously it's on the trailer behind me. I have not taken it off the trailer because it's a little easier for me to get up under it and deal with it where it's at. So the last time I talked to you was about a week ago. I've been thinking about it for a while, and like I had said when we tried to turn it over and I showed you the rust in the oil filler cap, this thing is not a candidate for me putting $3,000-$4,000 worth of a rebuild into it. But that being said, I have decided that we are going to try to get it to run. I am going to take you down and show you what I've found. And one of them is the dipstick is showing that thing has probably got 2 gallons of water in it. It's about 4 inches from the top of the dipstick. We're going to get that drained. We're going to get the oil and the water out of it. We are going to take all the spark plugs out, see if we can blow out the cylinders enough to get most of the water and crud out of there. I don't have a scope to look down in it, and I really don't want to because I might just stop. I am a machinist. I'm also a realist. This engine runs does not mean it will go 400 miles, 800 miles, or a few thousand. It means it'll run. It's done. The rings are stuck to the cylinder walls. I've seen them not seat just from the wrong honing job on them. So that being said, it'd be easier for me to find a 400 or 455. This is an all original numbers matching car, and I forget what the mileage is. We'll take a look at that sometime real soon here. I did that in the original, when I was originally filming, we did the walk around. But I did look at the brake pedal since, and that brake pedal looks new. So whatever that 70-something thousand miles is undoubtedly original. So let me get you down from there. We're going to wander around, and I'm going to show you what I found with the dipstick and all that stuff. Then we're going to get the oil drained out of it and do all the things I just said. So give me a minute, and I'll get right back to you. All right, we're back up on top of the trailer. We're going to pull the dipstick out of this. I did notice something just now. I don't know if you guys can even see that. Let me see if I can pull you up on it. That seems to be oil going down around the water pump, which means it's being pushed up. That's how much water is in it. There's enough water under the oil to push the oil into the cam galley, which I am hoping, I'm actually praying, that it didn't get water in the cam area. That'll be not good. Let's pull the dipstick and show you what I found. There's water to right there. I can get my finger to focus here on the dipstick, and there's the top of the dipstick. There's water from there all the way down, which, as you can see, puts the water level somewhere. Let me see, where's the top of that tube? So the water level is somewhere where I'm pointing with the top of the dipstick. Underneath, the oil would be pushed up. So that's not good. I have got some Marvel, and here we go with my shaking hands again. Actually, I haven't checked the dipstick because this thing has been topless or front endless for the transmission fluid. Transmission fluid is on the full line, and it does not look to have, well, it doesn't have water in it, or it would be way higher than that. All right, it is a points ignition, which surprises me. It's a 74. Why would, I thought they would convert it to electronic ignition by then, but nevertheless, they didn't, obviously. Not a problem, we know how to deal with that. Of course, linkage is frozen. All right, let's go underneath and let's get some water out of this thing and some oil out of it. Oh yeah, the other thing I'm going to do that is going to help, well, it's what I'm going to do, is I am going to drain it. I'm not putting oil right back in it. I'm going to fill it, put a gallon, gallon and a half of diesel in the crankcase. I'm going to fill all the cylinders. We're going to wait a couple of days, and then we're going to see if we can get this thing to turn. Give me a second. I'll get you back to where we need to be. And hopefully, yeah, I'm getting my fingers in the screen. Sorry. 1 minute. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, I've got you set up under here. I'm going to slide up beside this tire and try not to fall off the trailer and get that plug out. Drain some water out of it. Try to stop it when the oil starts coming out of it, or put it in the pan once the oil starts coming out of it. This is beyond a tight fit. Getting you under there was hard enough. Getting me under here, not so good. I did break it loose when things went in my way. That's a little crusty feeling. That'll make it fun to, do not want that water in the pan to start with. I seriously think there's over a gallon of water in it. Which we will find out right now. Well, not an exact amount, but you get the point. Already getting water. See water? That's a water. Try to deflect some of it so you guys aren't. Yeah, so I don't drown the camera. And still be able to plug it before the oil starts coming out. That is a lot of water. I know I'm going to have to dry you and me off after this. It doesn't smell that good either. Oh, that's nice. It's going right in the hole. That was less splashy than what I was doing. That was brilliant. Well, these are good ones. Get ready to pull the pan over. Lots and lots of water. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I know it was way over the crankshaft, enough to push 4 quarts of oil all the way up to the cam galley and the plate underneath the intake manifold where it was leaking out oil down over the water pump. That is not a little bit of water, my gosh. I need to get really on this because it's going to be 85-degree day all the way up from snowing like literally a week and a half ago. Give you an idea of our weather variations. About 4.5 years ago when I did the international video, we had snow on St. Patrick's Day, like 1.5 feet of it. We're days from St. Patrick's Day, so yeah. Oh, is there anything but water in this thing? Wow. Yeah, it's probably closer to 2 gallons. And now it's time for oil. That was absolutely disgusting. Some chunkies. There you go, chunkies. I think what I am going to do while you guys are still down here, as soon as this runs out, is pull the oil filter cap off of it and just let a little bit of, put like a half gallon or not even that of diesel through it just to wash out some of that before I let it soak in diesel. The bottom end, I mean, not the top end. That is just disgusting. I need a stick. Well, maybe not. Yeah, that's gross. I don't like the extreme oil change thing, but the extreme goo drain, yeah, okay. Okay, let me get stick. I know there's more oil in that darn thing. Yeah. Oh, if I could get off here without breaking my neck. Or knocking you over. Actually, while I'm up here, I'm going to add some diesel. That'll thin it out a little bit, and then we'll stick it if we need to. Man, that is ugly inside that filler cap is just full of garbage. Hopefully I don't get too much of this on you. No, you guys got a better view of that than I did. Yeah, that made some stuff come out. So that's diesel flushing garbage out. That was the idea. I only put about a half gallon because I know this pan won't hold much more than, I probably didn't even do that, a couple of quarts. Obviously it was enough to help. Yeah, dribble, dribble, gooey. Sure, there's no big plug in there. There isn't. That's just diesel now. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, we're going to fill it with diesel, so that's not necessary to put any more of that out. It got all the gooeys. Well, I didn't get them all. Wait till you see what happens when we, well, what could happen when we drain the diesel after sitting a couple of days in it. Okay, we are good there. Let's take you topside and put you where you can see. We'll get to filling the cylinders with stuff now. All right, guys, I got you on top of the engine here where you can see. You can't see me, obviously. You can see my hand. I'm going to put some diesel in this thing right now. We're going to start pulling these spark plugs out. Forgive the generator. Forgive the compressor. We need it. One of those things about mechanical stuff, it requires mechanical tools. And that is it. We have about 2.5 gallons in there. Again, this is why this isn't very encouraging. I don't know if that thing's going to focus. That is a lot of rust. Honestly, well, I looked in there before, and the valve train seems to be a little less. If we manage to get this thing to move, we'll pull the valve covers before we try to start it. Make sure all the valves are moving up and down, because it will just destroy any chance of it functioning if the thing has a stuck valve. And this does have the one, what the heck am I looking at here? The placement of cylinders are right here. With the number 1 here, number 2 over here, so it's standard Chevy. And I want to see, if I remember correctly, these things go backwards. So that's number 1 is pointing at the driver's seat. And number 8 is going over to, oh, okay, that's 1. So this would be, if it's going backwards, this would be 8. All right, it's reverse rotation. That way. Anyway, let's get a spark plug out of this. I owned a 69 GTO once upon a time. I loved that car. Oh. Yeah, we're going to do these one cylinder at a time, pull them out, blow them out, fill them up. I've got some vacuum line and an air nozzle here so I can stuff them down in. So one of the dead giveaways, this is supposedly an Arizona car. That's not good. Let me get behind so I can see that you're actually seeing that. It's rusty and green. Let me make sure you're focusing, which you are not really. Come on, focus. All right. That's one. And we're going to use the vacuum line that I was just talking about to run down into the cylinder, maybe, and see if it comes out wet like a dipstick. That's at the bottom, and there is water in there. Less than I would have thought. This thing doesn't give much room for water to squirt by it. I'm still going to stand over here and see if we can blow some of this out. It is getting hot. I'm sweating. There is water coming out of it. I don't know how much you're seeing, but it is definitely doing that up. Move that a little bit and see if we get a little different trajectory in there. The other thing I'm going to have to watch out is it's getting hot real quick, which will shut my camera down. So I got to keep watching that you aren't shut down. All right, let's go for number 3. Man, look at that. Sun just destroys stuff. Yeah, guys, if you have a project, don't take your dang project apart all at once. If you're building a project, go through it one part at a time, put it back together. When you've done everything and it's time to break it down and sandblast, paint and stuff, then take it all apart when you know it's running and everything's ready. This one is rusty and just disgusting. We're going to do the same thing with the cylinder. Yeah, so that gives you some idea what is in there. That's gross. One thing I won't do, guys, and this is a promise, I will not do fake. I am not going to BS you. If it's gone, and I'm going to tell you so. I don't do, let's quick, this is going to work real fast, because it never works like that in real life. That may be a dry cylinder. There's nothing coming out of that one. I'm going to pull it back out and look at the end and see if we got any. Oh, it's wet in there. It's less wet, I'd say. Let's put the other end in. Let this one dry out. Let's do that again. It's way down on the stroke. Unless I folded it. That's what I was trying to say. Let's try that again right there. Whoa! No, I wasn't supposed to do that. That's not helpful. And it came out mostly dry. Just the very tip of it wet. It's one of those things where you need another hand. All right, same result. Not much or nothing coming out of that one. Is a little wet on the end. Alrighty. You know what? I think I need to sit you in a different position, because you're not going to be seeing much after that one. I don't think you can even see. I'll be working right down here. I don't know if you guys appreciate this more up and personal view, or just seeing me do it from a distance, honestly. Because I have mixed feelings when people do that to me when I'm watching. I do know having the front clip off of it is what destroyed it, but it's also what makes it real easy for me to get to these things. As I say that, I need another extension. This angle will probably break the plug. Oh, that one wasn't as stuck as the rest of them. That one actually moved a lot easier. It's going to be interesting is getting that marble in here. I use a 1/4-inch fuel line and put in there, I think. And we are going to completely fill the cylinders. Boy, this thing likes green and rusty. Nasty. All right, let's repeat that previous process. Well, that puppy might be on top. That puppy's on top. And nothing but crusties in that one. All right, let's take number 4 out. There ain't nothing to blow out of that one, which is a good sign. Less watered cylinders, the better. It is getting really hot here. Thank you, compressor. That's extremely noisy. Where's that spark plug? There it is. Oh, that's another one that's not really stuck at all. That first one was the hardest one to get out. Second one was pretty hard. This one and the last one, not at all like normal. Shy, you guys be nice doggies. They like green. And I need to get it so you can see it. Looks dry. Let's see what happens when we stick the vacuum line down in it. It's dry. All right, I'm going to get you guys over to the other side and put you in a wider view position because I'm not sure how much you like that. So let's go from there. And oh, by the way, camera angles and stuff, you want something different, let me know in the comments. All right, I got you repositioned. All right, guys, I think I like this position a little better. Let me know in the comments. Seriously, I want to make you guys as comfortable and be able to see as good as you can, and feedback is always helpful. All right, let's get that spark plug wire off. Do the same thing on this side. I do have the Marvel Mystery Oil. All these I can get with a funnel, just putting it down. The one behind the brake, two behind the brake booster over there, I might have to get creative, but I will completely fill the cylinders with Marvel. These engines are pretty tough. I've heard tales of them sitting 5 years with water in them and still being able to get them to run. Like I said, machinist, I know better than to think this is going to be a great engine. I'm just going to tell you the condition. It is completely plugged in there with rust. It's got a little more of that green stuff. I'm going to lay it out on the tip of the frame here. And we're going to do the dunk test on the cylinder. Man, hopefully it's not wet. Being wet and wet are two different things, by the way. It's dry and crusty in there. There's powdery stuff in there. And the reason I mention that is just because it isn't wet right now doesn't mean it hasn't been wet. I'll unplug these while we're... Wow, that one was already... That was not loose. That was just ridiculously loose. Like falling off loose. One thing I like about these Pontiacs is they have a very unique exhaust note. Stock with, like my GTO when I first got it, had a stock 400 in it. Headers, Offenhauser intake, 750 Holley, thrust pipes, exhaust. It sounded awesome. It sounded like a lot more than what it was. They had a knocking rod. Same condition, gooey, blue, completely unusable. I'm going to take these all out. And then we'll just go through the blow it out process if we find water. Otherwise, we're filling it with Marvel. Spark plug. Oh, there's a... Did you see that? There's water rolling out of that one. Completely underwater. I knew we were going to get at least one more that was like that. Still water running out of it. I suppose you can't even see that, can you? Well, you probably did see that when I first did it. Maybe. I'll know when I edit. going to pull the last one out. Then we're going to start blowing them out. We'll blow these two out. I can see the water just wobbling around in there. Well, that has got, well, that's interesting. It pushed oil into this cylinder. That's how high the water was. I'm going to pull you around here because you got to see this. This doesn't happen often. It's kind of a blessing, maybe not, because the water's on the lower half of the skirts. Isn't that pretty? So water came out of that cylinder and it's actually in that cylinder. And this one has got a little water and goo coming out of it. We got to get both out of there. Put you back in your spot. Sorry about the bouncing around, but I figured you needed to see that. That is real gross. And I'm getting on your side when I do this. I have no desire to be covered in yuck water or oil. So, pistons, where's the piston? Almost all the way down. Sorry, my finger is, that's how much water's in that cylinder. I am going to go over here, not interrupt your view, hopefully. Hopefully I didn't knock you out of view. Hopefully I don't drown us both with this. We're going to spray it out, air it out, hopefully not blow the hose out. Hang on for a second. I have the seat to this car right there and it barely hit it and that's water. I don't want it doing it with oil. So we will be reassembling the whole car. Oh, by the way, I'm back in case you hadn't figured that out. I am getting pummeled and so are you. Go ahead, B, get over there, you dumbass. I'm gonna have to clean you, I know I am. Alright, I think it's as blown out as that one's getting. See how ugly I got your view. You seem to be okay. I'll find out in editing, won't I? Okay, this is where it gets ugly. Fucking out of here, Hornets. This could get real ugly. We're going to do this a lot less aggressively. I don't want oil all over my Avalanche. And yes, I know there's going to be comments about the Blazer in the background. We will be doing a will it run on that. It has not run since 2004. It's an 87 throttle body injector. It was my mom's. It definitely needs to be revived. That's a lot less. At least it's oil. It's a lubricated cylinder. We'll put marble in it too. And I am cooking like bacon out here. It's hot. Only 85 in the direct sun. That'd be in the shade, not in the direct sun. Freaking hornets are a pain in my butt. Make me say things I need to edit later. All right. Like I said, the only good part of that one is that definitely was lubricated. Ain't full yet. This now, and I don't want to waste this stuff because we got lots of cylinders to go. You know, it's full. Oh, that was cute. Splashed right in my face. I think this one was close to the top. It was. If I do is catch it and still get around hoses, I can't. Hooey. This one is not close to the top, unless the one completely full of water, or was. It's full now. I really like that one to be locked up in there. Need to get a hornet trap again. Oh, dang it. That really sucks. One wasn't as far down as I thought it was. Maybe I can get clever and backbore this. Come on, thread in there. Very good. That one not so much, but I was trying to get it like this one so it was over full and it was up into the valves and the guides. We've used about half of it, which will be about right when we get around to the other side. Let's put you on the other side right now, and then we will repeat this process over there. Oh, the car has 90,191 miles and some tenths. I just looked. There you go. Did I bring the funnel? Of course not. I also put the lid on it, which was totally unnecessary. This one was full of water, remember? Or greatly full of water. Close to completely full, at least. I wish he wouldn't have done things like cut the radiator hoses, cut the power steering hoses. Because you know we got to replace those to be able to make this thing move. I'm going to grab a spark plug because if this one's going to be overfilled, I thought it's not even filled yet. Yeah, this one was completely down. I remember it was way down. Now it's pushing something out of it. It's not backed up in the funnel. We need to PB blaster that carburetor and the linkage. Now let's see, let me get an angle that works in this one. Just a little more. Wow, that one wants a little more. This one had some water in it, if you remember. Are you bottomless? This one must have been completely down on compression stroke, or yeah, bottom of stroke, excuse me. All right, unless you have a hole in you, and I need some more of this, so fill up for goodness sake. I think that's actually full there. Let's dipstick it. Yeah, right to the top. Now these two, I don't know, guys. Maybe. We don't have to get fancy. I hope also if I could see the hole. Where in the heck is it? Are you right under that bridge? Yeah, you are. So if I get right in there, maybe? Yep, that's the ticket right there. Bad sun glare right now. This one, I believe, was all the way up. Yeah, and that's what the, dang it. We'll do the same thing we did before. No, of course not. It just went down where we didn't want it. Ooh, that one's going to be brutal. Can we get in this way better? Or can we just not reach it that way? you shove it hard, maybe. An angle looks like it's just going to run back on me. Use the hand to back it from backing up. Oh, it's going in the right place. I can't believe we get. What they say, it ain't done yet. Yeah, that is definitely full. Well, that's where, well, we're going to do one other thing before I get you out of here. I'm going to get my nasty gloves off. We're going to pee-pee blaster the heck out of that carburetor. Make sure you have a view of all that. All right, going upstairs. The front end had been left on this thing, we wouldn't be having this conversation, at least about whether we could have to, froze up from being stuck in the water. It would just be another 400 with 90,000 miles on it. The good news for us is this is numbers matching. I'll find a 400 or 455. I'm not putting another 350 in it. But I will keep this engine because I know somebody out there is going to want, maybe when they get it, they're going to want to, there's people want numbers matching is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, right. We're going to leave this thing for a couple of days, then we'll be right back out here with a 15/16 on the crank bolt, seeing if we can get this thing to roll over. Okay, figured I might want to make an appearance in the video sooner or later. Anyway, like I said, a couple of days, we'll come back here, I'll set you up, we'll see if we can get it rotated. If it rotates, which I'm pretty sure I can get it to rotate, I might be hallucinating. And then we'll go through spark plugs and all the distributor and get fire to it. And we'll start it just like it is then. And we'll go from there. Anyway, I'll be back to you shortly. All right, guys, we are back. This is the third day this thing's been soaking. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put a cheater pipe on the front of this thing, take the spark plugs out because we've got fluid all the way to the top of the cylinders. If I don't do that, it's not gonna turn, maybe a little bit, but it'll hydrolock. So let me get you a little better position, and we're going to take the plugs out and see if we can get this thing to turn over. So just give me a minute and I'll get you there. All right, first thing we'll do is get the spark plugs out of it. And it's been hot the last few days, which is, yeah, they're soaked. Very, very good. Now I've got, that stuff is actually running out of it right now. I overfilled them. And remember, this number 8 cylinder was full of oil. That one won't be our problem. The better question is how did Mr. Oil get in there? Supposedly this thing ran when he bought it. It had no problem, supposedly, and I believe him, maybe. It might not have been him because I don't think he ever got it running or had it started. Okay. Those are all out now. Let me climb up in there and see if we can get some movement. Out falling through the deck of my rotted out trailer. I need to redeck this thing. Pressure treat. Fortunately, this isn't a 5/8 bolt. This is a 15/16. Much larger, so we can get more leverage on it. Thought I was kidding. The deck is rotten. Cheater pipe. Better positioning so I don't fall through the deck. Come on, baby. I'm tightening the nut. A little farther out on the cheater. Still tightening the nut. Yeah, I'm going to break that bolt off. I am not your average person pulling on this. Oh, that's a problem. Come on, baby. Give me a little bit of movement. Freaking old side of the car is coming up. That's a problem. I'm going to break that bolt. I can feel it stretching. Well, maybe a few more days of soaking. On my Cummins, I actually had 4 days of soaking before I got it free, and it wasn't submerged in water. There is no getting on the flywheel, not to mention that little flywheel tool is not putting anywhere near the pressure I just put on this. Give it one more try before I decide not to do that anymore today. I'm going to break that bolt. I'd rather not do that. We'll give it a couple more days and we'll try it again. So like we discussed when I first talked to you guys driving down the road, this is a will we rescue it or not? And the answer is yes, we're going to rescue it. Might not be that engine. Let's back you up a little bit so I can get in front of you. So there's reality in this world. And the reality right now says that thing's been underwater for 3 years. Yeah, we could probably disassemble it completely and find cylinders that are completely rusted garbage that'll never turn again. It's not worth it. We got many other projects. C10 sitting right there, Blazer sitting right there, hasn't been driven since, so it hasn't been registered since '02 or ran. I've got many of them. We're working on other things at the moment. So what I'm going to do again is give this thing a few more days. And I do mean a few more. We're supposed to have good weather for the next 5 or 6 days. So I'll just feel it out and we'll let it sit and come back and we'll try it again. And then to make a decision on what we want to do. At that point, I may pull the valve covers off of it and see what's going on in there. The problem here is you've seen it. There was at least 3 gallons of water. So that lifted all the oil way up. It had to lift it high enough into the engine that it was on top of the number 1 piston. And remember, flowed out of the piston when I pulled the spark plug out. That is a really bad sign. That means everything below that 4 quarts of oil that was in there is water. To get it up that high and to run it out of the valley pan, like I had showed you when we were looking down there checking the dipstick, that means that there was water in the cam area. That is a really bad place. It's bad enough when it's in the crank, but when it gets in the cam, all those small moving parts, all the lifters stuck in the bores, etc., it becomes, okay, where do we find that free or very low dollar, $455 or $400, to slap in this thing in literally a few hours and have it running? Obviously, that's my preference. There's no replacing displacement, right? I love that. I love big displacement. Beast 454, it's actually a 468. Chevelle 632, not built yet, but there's just no replacing that. So if I can give this thing back life by finding a 455 or a 400 Pontiac and bolt it right in, I will do that, assemble that, and see where we would go from there. But for now, we're going to let this go, and I'll get back to you in a couple of days. All right, guys, it's been it's been 3 days. We've let it soak a total of 6 days, I believe, or something very close to that. So if it has any chance of turning over, it's going to be now. But before I try to turn this thing over again, as I'm getting ate by every insect in the country, I am going to pull the valve covers off, and we're going to take a look underneath. Remember when I pulled the filler cap off, it had a mountain of rust growing off of it. And I can't see really well down in there, but I would like to know what we're fighting. We need to take rocker arms off of it. Like I said, I'm not going to stick a bunch of money in an engine that I know I need to replace. But I would like to see if I can get the thing rotating. The curiosity is just killing me to what's inside. So let's take a look. Give me a second. I'll get you set up. All right, let's get this valve cover off of here. See what kind of crustation we have up underneath of it. Remember how much water we had in this, so I would not be at all shocked if there's a serious amount of rust. Although I suspect if anything was going to get pushed up in there, it would be oil because of how much water was in it. And you know, water's on the bottom, oil on the top. Yay. Well, there's definitely some rusties in there, but man, not much. It's mostly oil, which is nothing like that cap. Cap was just nasty. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to give this thing a tug and see if it moves. Because I have a stinking suspicion, well, obviously it's stuck in the cylinders. But as high as that oil was, the whole entire cam galley down in there and all the lifters and all that stuff are going to be stuck in their bores. Because that's where the water was. It got that high. I know because like I showed you over there, it was coming out of the top of the valley pan oil. So it was really close in that area. So what I am going to do is reset you up and we're going to try to turn this. If that doesn't work, we're going to take all the rocker arms off of it and tap the valves and see if any of those are stuck. But we're going to go to the easiest to the hardest. Let's try not to fall through the deck again. Wow. I'm going to snap that bolt. I know I am. I can feel the stretch on it. Wow. Well, well. All right. Let me pause you for a minute. I'm going to get a 5/8 socket and I'm going to buzz those off with you. And then we'll tap this side and see what goes on there. I think the stuck is down in the valve train and in the cylinder walls, and they weren't a little full, they were bad, and it's been 3 years. So the chances are slim, guys. And it's definitely not worth anything even if we did get it to move. What I really want, obviously, if you guys decide we want to save this thing, and please put that in the comments because I'm torn. The body is a Nova body. And it's a hatchback, and I can fix the rust in the hatch easily. Put the front end back together, but 455 is what's required. But anyway, like I said from the beginning, we're rescuing this or we're not. Like, comment, subscribe, and give me what to do in the comments because I'm really torn. I don't want to go into the wrecking yard, obviously, but there's a lot to putting this thing back together. I can pull this engine out of this thing, put a 455 or 400 in here in a matter of a couple hours and have it started. No problem there. Putting the shell and stuff on, we need to do that. Not in this video, but we definitely need to do that so it's all one piece and semi-sealed. Let me get you down from there. I'm going to get a hammer, 5/8. We're going to take those rockers off. Half tempted to just take and whack it, but I like to hear the ting or not, whether it moves. Let me get you paused for a minute. I'll be right back. All right, let's do this a really speedy way. Not including putting gloves on. Of course it's going to mess with me and be stuck in the socket. Give me that. Seriously, that does not help with speedy. Thing has guide plates. I didn't remember that they did that. It's been a long time since I've worked on a Pontiac. It has push rod guide plates. Okay then. Hey guys, let's take a minute. We were talking about guide plates, or I was. I mentioned I don't remember guide plates being on Pontiac. Maybe my memory was losing it. It wasn't. It drove me insane. So I went and did some research, and what I remembered was correct. So they only use guide plates on like the Ram Airs, the 400, 455, or the HOs. Never did they put guide plates on a stock Smog 350. And I did look this up. I got the numbers off the heads and I ran them, and they are stock Smog heads. So going back to me being a machinist, I was thinking, how did this head get studs and valve or guide plates? The answer is the studs that were pressed in before occasionally would be pushed out, and it'd cause a rattling like a bad lifter or something, and it'd end up coming into a machine shop, and we'd order the screw and stud thing, which comes with a guide plate. So we would machine it and install those like that. So that's how this thing ended up with guide plates and stamped steel rockers. It was driving me insane because Pontiacs weren't even back in the 80s and stuff when I was working in machine shops a lot. They didn't come in very often. We did get them, and they usually came in. They were not the typical rebuild, some of them were, but most of them came in, got hot rodded badly or extremely, which we would like. So I'm going to take you down from there, and I'm going to show you what we got here so you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. I know I kind of glanced over, but it really was driving me nuts. Sorry for the detour, but I think it was important to show you what I have. So give me a second, I'll take you down. So here's what we got. I had to switch sides of the car because the glare, as you can see, is terrible. As you can see, those are guide plates. And you can also get a really good look what you didn't have before, how much rust is in this engine. It's destroyed. It would take a complete rebuild and possibly not be fixable. And to emphasize what I was talking about with the rockers, these are just stock steel stamped rockers. Anyway, we're going to leave it at that. I didn't want to detour you very much, but I did need you to know that information. Free, stuck, free, can't tell, need an extension. I'm stuck, it's stuck, I'm stuck. Maybe I can get on that one to see if it's free with this. Remember which one it is. Well, it's tapping down. Free. Yes. And the problem with that is then, well, the piston might push it up. So, definitely had a couple stuck there. Let's find my extension, a big socket again, and see, because these were the ones that were, you see, there was that one and that one that, actually that one had a ton of water in it. These were mezzo, but these two the most. That's stuck, and that's stuck right here and right here. don't know about that number, or the last one in a row there, number 7 cylinder, to get a long extension and smack that after we get the valve cover or valve rocker arm off of it. So what I was babbling about is seeing if I can get any movement. You guys can sit there, tell me if anything rotates, which again I doubt. I don't know, the valves can hold it up. That's not a little bit of leverage against them. They basically bend all the push rods. No. Definitely not. Okay, I'm going to get you guys set up. Actually, we're going to get that one. Let's get that one rocker arm out of there. Such organization. I'm back. I actually do try to get organized for you guys, so you're not just sitting here waiting for me. That whole lower end, the whole crankshaft was absolutely underwater. You've seen it, 3 gallons. Let me see, the oil pan holds 4 quarts. So basically 3 times that in the oil pan, yeah, more than that. Yeah, basically 3 times. Which means that whole crankshaft was completely submerged in water for years. He did say it sat outside for 3 years, but I had it covered good. Yeah, no, I've lost engines like that, so, and I thought I had them covered good. That's not a slander on anybody. It's not easy to keep water out of things outside. So torture my extension again. Make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Stuck and then released. Yeah, it's sticky. All right, I'm going to reposition you guys. We're going to get back over on this other side, repeat, and then we're going to try to rotate it. I'm trying to take the valves, all the upper end off of the load. All right, guys, I think we got you set up now. Minus removing the acorn out of the way here. Freaking rodents. All right. And dipsticks falling out. Okay. I can tell you without taking anything off, this is way worse. And I know that view, I've got rust everywhere. This is like, wow, that's what that is. That's all bad. We're this far, might as well take them off. Any guesses at how many are stuck? 100%? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe not. That's awful rusty for not. Yeah, I was telling you that dipstick wasn't in there very good. All right, I did bring the little tapper. Free. Kind of. Stuck. Free. Very stuck. Free. Very stuck. Those are actually enough to stop us when we were trying to rotate, because it's not just one, it's a whole bunch of them pushing against that rotation, not to mention all the it's even frosty shaked at the bottom. That answers it. So hopefully that's focusing. That's milkshake on the end of that. What I was saying is all that water down in there, which that proves there was water in our valve train. So not only are we trying to fight the rotation of the camshaft or the crankshaft, we are also fighting the rotation of the camshaft. This valley was submerged. Every one of them. That is not good. Yep, pure milkshake. Dang it. All right. Let's reposition you and let's give this another what for and see if we can pull on it. I'm going to give it everything I can, and hopefully without breaking the crank bolt off, because we may need who knows what parts. Now again, I know I've said this, but a lot of people don't know, so I'm going to say it again. It's worth knowing. The 350 and all the Pontiac blocks, the 455, the 400 are all the same exterior. Everything crankshaft and bore is what's different on all of them. So any one of those engines will bolt right in here, and that's what we're going to go for. We're going to look for the biggest thing we can. No more falling through decks. I really need to redeck this. It is extremely expensive. Just say I'm not able to do that at the moment. Maybe the release of that, huh? Probably not. God, no. God, this could get real ugly real quick. Yeah, that ain't going nowhere. Wow. You know what, guys? Yeah, I could disassemble it. We could beat the pistons out of it and hone it and make it smoke like crazy and start and free up rings? No, we're not removing the damage in those cylinder walls. It's not happening. Let me back you up for a minute. All right, guys, as you know, right from the beginning, when we found this thing was froze, I said it's not worth your time or mine, and it really isn't. This engine is done. I don't want to mess with it. It's not worth the time that it would take to find out it's worse than it is now, because it is that bad. So what we are going to do is we're going to leave it up to you. If you want to see me find an engine for this thing, put it back together, get it running, then like, comment, subscribe, hit the comments down there. Tell me what you're thinking. It is a Nova style body. This thing could be a Judge replicant. How about a GTO? Because it's literally a badge on the side, a hood scoop, and the lights and a little emblem in the grill to make it that way. Or we could just leave it a Ventura and make it a sleeper. We would be fine in a 400 or 455. But like I said, it's up to you. Let me know, and I'll see you here next time.